So I had a trip planned. We were going to go to Latvia and see the Midsummer Festival. And I was really looking forward to it. We had flights booked 10 days in the middle of June. Now that's sort of likely to be 10 days of quarantine, so we won't be going. And I'm prepared to drown my sorrows. And to be doing that, we'll be making some pancakes. I'll be using a range of interesting ingredients and no eggs. Sort of stumbled upon how to make these just a while ago. And we'll be doing it with a little bit of this video's sponsor, which is Razor Griddle. I've got the single burner outdoor griddle. So let's crack on. So there's one morning when I had a serious hankering for pancakes and I had no eggs. But I did have this in the fridge. This is a Latvian branded Kefir, or they call it Kefirs. It's really, really thick and almost sort of syrupy in texture, and I thought that would be probably a fair replacement for eggs. And so I thought about what the rest of a pancake recipe has. A little bit of sugar, flour, salt, and some olive oil, and that's basically it. But because of the texture of this stuff, it's quite thick, it comes out like pretty fluffy. The mixture isn't like anything you've really seen before. It's quite viscous. You know, the demarcation lines, they don't really settle back down. So when you see it loaded up onto the griddle, it sort of sits there in a heap, and you can flip it over. So it's like fluffy pancakes, like the Japanese style ones, but without the fuss of whipping up egg whites, because there aren't any. And what's more is that this is slightly acidic. So you don't need baking powder. Baking soda or bicarbonate soda will do just fine. So we'll just get these ingredients mixed, and I'll show you what the texture's like, and then we'll plate it up, and I'll rip one open in glorious slow-mo for you. So this is it. It's all pretty simple. We actually start by putting the sugar, which is about 15 grams, and about 350 grams of kefir. Dump that in, a little bit of salt. A couple of grinds does the trick. You gotta mix that in. Get it nice and dissolved. Drizzle of olive oil in. Just a splash. That sort of helps it not stick. So we've got the baking soda here. We're not going to put that in right until the end because it starts reacting pretty quickly. So what we'll do is get that, and we just pour this in. You know, you got to let it come together sort of on its own. You don't want to whisk it because you don't want it to sort of get too aggressive on the old proteins and stuff, or the gluten in there. So you can see that how it's quite thick. You want it to be around about there. If you need to, if it's too thick, you can put in a little bit more kefir, but not too much. There's a fine line between too much and too little here. I think this is looking pretty good. So you can see here, it's just like slowly falls out of the spoon. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to let that rest for a little bit. Let everything relax and settle down. It's almost like a dough. So we'll mix a bit of bicarbonate soda into that. Put the griddle on the lowest temperature. So we'll be making sure that that is not going to be so hot that you want to burn it, because they're going to be cooking relatively slowly. So we'll dump in the bicarbonate soda and give it a mix around. So just like ordinary pancakes, you want to sort of start flipping them once you start seeing a few bubbles on top, which we're getting close to. Here's the pancakes. They're not the prettiest pancakes in the world because they're pretty hard to control. but they are damn good. Slightly sweet. So we'll grab the runt of the litter here and I'll show you what's up. Beautifully fluffy. Slightly sweet with a little bit of chew. It's the best way to do pancakes, I'm convinced of it. Bit of cloudberry jam. It's almost sort of like caramelly delicious berry jam, straight from farms in Latvia. Drizzle a bit of that over top. Some sunflower seeds. Delicious. And finally, some poppy seeds. If you want, you can add a bit of cream to this. Not much of a cream sort of dude. Just yeah, so we end up with something quite light, quite fluffy. A little bit sweet, a little bit of chew to it. They look ugly as sin, but they taste so damn good. Well worth a go, I think.